Hey Flosstube, welcome to Creative One Studio. Hey friends, welcome. It has been a week since my last video. Today is Saturday, February 24th. And we leave Wednesday for Nashville. Thank goodness the boys are here to hold down the fort. Ryan stays at the house with our beloved puppy, Athena, and then during the day while he's at work, Kyle's here working. So anyways, Ryan and Kyle are great. They take care of the house and the puppy in the studio while we're gone. I wanted to start with a prayer request. I mentioned in my last video that we had a histiogram, I think is what they call it, or something, where they test further into the tumor they removed from Athena to find out what kind of cancer it is, and it's thyroid cancer. So it was a crushing blow to me yesterday. The vet called me yesterday. It was like 5:30. So I couldn't get an appointment with this place that they recommend in, I think she said Canton, Michigan. So it's like an hour drive, whatever. But I gotta take her, I have to make an appointment and take Teeny there to find out what we do next. Can we just do radiation, which is what I'm hoping? And then they offer chemotherapy, which sounds horrific. So I would just like to, if you're the praying kind, please say prayers for my puppy. I know that might seem stupid because there's a lot of people that need prayers too, but if you have a pet, you know they're part of the family as much as anyone else. And yeah, it's hard times right now. So give me 1 second. Today's video will be rather short because I just want to show you my progress, because I won't be making a video for the next 2 weekends because I'll be in Nashville, and then Kevin's coming home, and then I'm staying like an extra 5 days with my soul sister Kristen down there in Tennessee, and then flying home the following Saturday after market. So I won't be around for 3 weeks. So let's just do that, and then I have to show you the rest of my new releases, which you probably already know. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know what the surprise was. What I've been working on, because you know what brings me peace at the end of the day is stitching. I totally get it, guys. Any kind of needlework. So last night I worked on this Valentine's heart and hand. This was my January Patreon design for tier 4. I just love it, and you could just do that heart and make an ornament out of it and it would be fabulous. But I'm doing the whole thing because I love the heart and hand. I don't know. I thought about leaving love off. I'm going to stitch that last. That way if I decide I don't want it, then I'll leave it off. So last time you saw it, basically I had these fingers started and then I had this done. So I'm starting to work on the motifs in here because this is super boring. So I'm kind of mixing it up. The other thing I'm working on is the tier 4 mystery sale and Patreon. I apologize, these are both Patreon charts, but it is what it is. I did a live with my Patreon group and decided that because I am making changes along the way, I'm going to work a month ahead of everybody so that if I do make a change, they'll know about it when they start stitching that page, okay? Because I did make some changes to page 1, but a lot of people had already had theirs stitched by the time I made my changes, and it was just kind of a mess when I did page 2. Anyways, I'm not going to get into all that. So I am cooking along on this, and I think it's turning out fabulous. So right now we have Willow Antiques and the Basket Shop, and then this one here, I think it says Tinsmith. I think that's a tinsmith shop. And then the sign will be outlined, backstitched with black. And I think I'm gonna backstitch the windows in black, which is not on the pattern at this time, but that's why I'm working ahead of everybody so that when I make changes, you know, by the time they get that page, I will have, you know, made the changes. So anyway, I think this is super cute. There's 4 pages across, and then there's, I don't know, there's 24 pages, so there's 4 pages and then 6 pages down. Well, I'm working on page 3, so page 4 will probably end up like where my finger is here, and then it will just be going down from there. It's a big piece of fabric, isn't it? I'm stitching this on Fox and Rabbit up in the attic, and all the colors look fabulous on it. I'm super pleased with this so far. I have mistakes, like my fence. My fence is wrong because the fence here was supposed to be one of these full ones, but it met the road and it was cut off, and I don't know what happened. I counted, I recounted after I noticed that there was an error. I counted again and I still can't figure out what I did wrong. Now, how is that possible? How can you count something 4 times and not figure out what you did wrong? I don't know, guys. This cross stitch thing is not for the faint of heart. Okay, that's my whips. I'm going to show you some haul that just came today, which is so fabulous. Cedar River Linen and Designs. Jody sent me her new fabrics. This one is 40 count Spindrift. Oh, it's delightful. Is that the one I got 2 of? No. I love that it's just, oh, it's blowing out, isn't it? It's just a beautiful cream color. You can see how white my sleeve is, and that kind of gives you an idea of the difference. But it's just a beautiful light color linen. So that's Spindrift. I bought 2 of the next one here. So Maple Bar, I have it in 40 count and 32 count. What I love about this linen is she has like these yellow splotches, or the modeling is kind of a yellow, a real warm color. Let's see, that's showing up pretty good actually. To see the modeling though, I might have to open it up a little bit. Oh, like look at, I don't know if that's going to come across, but see up here, see that yellow modeling? It just makes the fabric look really aged, and I love that. What's the name of this one? Did I ever say? Yeah, Maple Bar. Oh, we have tons of maple trees here in Michigan. We were actually, I was talking to somebody that does, that they harvest the maple. I want to say that was at Donna's Stitch Gathering, which was a while ago. But they were saying that because the weather has been so warm this winter, we may not get maple syrup, fresh maple syrup, because something about the temperatures have to be below 0 for so many days, and then they have to be, you know, like warm up but then get below freezing again, and warm up and below freezing. Anyways, we shall see. We have a friend that makes a ton of maple syrup. He gives us maple syrup every year, and I love it. It's delicious, but I don't really make pancakes and stuff like that, so I don't really use it that much, even though I love it. Coffee Stain, Be Still My Heart. Again, the overtone, the modeling with that yellow just makes it so fabulous. You can really see that yellow modeling. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. This is a beautiful piece. Look at that. Wow. So cool. It just looks like such an old piece of fabric. That's really showing up well. So let's compare. Sorry. So we have Coffee Stain, Maple Bar. Look at the difference. Maple Bar. Oh, so pretty. And then I'll put up Spindrift. So when you look at all of them together, you can really get an idea of these colors. They're fabulous. So thank you so much, Jody. I love your fabric. Absolutely beautiful. And look at this fabulous tissue paper that it comes in. Everything's all wrapped beautifully. So, so nice. So check her out, buy her linens, support her business. I think she's about a year old now, whoops, with her business. Not sure exactly when she started, but I know it was last year sometime. There we go. Super cool. I've been so busy since last time I saw you last Saturday. I punched an entire piece, FFO'd it, and I made my very first wool applique. That's my surprise, that I'm going to introduce wool applique at the Nashville Needlework Market. And I've designed 2 wool applique pieces in 2023, but I did not stitch them. I sent them out. Leanne Quigley has been wonderful to work with, and I'm going to continue to work with her. But I just really needed to do it myself so I know what it's about, and so I could get that stitchy wool applique bug, which now I'm a fanatic. I want to make so many things. I have sketches and ideas that just, I have so many things I want to make. I would like to somehow, I don't know, I was thinking about scheduling my week. We shall see. Every time I make a schedule, and it never works out because things pop up and then I miss that day and everything gets discombobulated. But I would love to, like, say, okay, Monday is design cross stitch day. Tuesday, I work on wool applique all day. Wednesday, I work on a rug, a punched rug or hooked rug. You know, Thursday, I work on punch needle. You know what I mean? Like, and then one day for painting. I just think it would be really cool to have that kind of a schedule and keep it up as much as possible, but we shall see. All right, so let me introduce to you my new releases for Nashville Market, which will include 2 punch needle and 2 wool applique. As you probably know, this is not all I'm releasing at Market. I will have a link below where you can look at my other new release video, which shows all of my cross stitch designs, which was a lot of them. So I'll have that video linked below, but this is just strictly for punch needle and wool applique. So here is a punch needle that I'm releasing. This is called Beekeeper, and she's super sweet. It's a 5.5 inch diameter. I'm going to have these on my blog at teresakogut.com. Sometime today I'm going to post pictures and then like all of the floss requirements for them. So this, look how cute it's finished. I just used sticky board, and then this is my Stitchy Bird fabric, and then I used some mini pom-pom going around the edge and a matching ribbon to make it a hanger. I love this piece. So that's Beekeeper. This one is called Blue. Oh, let me show you real quick. Here is the cover for Beekeeper, and I think the color turned out really well on that. That's always a challenge. So I made all the covers yesterday for all 4 of these pieces. Next we have Bluebird Love. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm in love with this piece. It is definitely, Bluebird Love is a perfect name for it because I do just love this piece. I started punching this just this past week. I punched it, fully finished it, photographed it, wrote the directions, all of that this week. It's been nuts. This size is 5 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches high. I have been doing punch needle for 18 years, you guys. This is the first time that I have finished it into a pillow, and I have to say I'm addicted now, and this will be a finish that I will do more often because it's super fun and it turned out super cool, and I was scared to death to do it, let me just tell you. So this is stitched with Weeks Dye Works, mostly Weeks Dye Works, 1 DMC, and then a Valdani thread for the background. I love the color of that Valdani thread. It has like a peachy yellow, and it kind of goes into like a tan color, a little bit of white, maybe not white, but anyway, it just has a really nice variegated look to it. And then I used, oh, the trim. Hold please. The trim is Dames of the Needle Colonial Tea. And it's a really tiny chenille. It's really actually kind of hard to see on there. But it gives it such a nice finish. And my husband's like, well, you really can't see it. And I'm like, I didn't want to see it. I wanted it to blend into the background, but yet I needed a nice finish where the fabric and the punch needle come together. So I have to tell you my faux pas. I don't mind sharing my mistakes with you guys because you know what? We're all human and we all make mistakes. So what happened was when I left the bottom open, this part open to stuff it. And I wanted it to be heavy and weighty. Can you hear the crunching? So I used the littered, what is it? Crushed walnut shells, I think it's made of. And I filled the bottom, but I knew it was going to be a real pain to fill this all the way to the top and get it full enough without it falling out as I'm stitching. So I'm like, well, I will put some in. So I put a bunch in the bottom, then I used polyfill here. And then I added another layer of the walnut shells, and then I finished it off with polyfill. Well, it's very top heavy, so that's why I made it into an ornament. I was just going to make it into like a bowl filler, just something you would set in a bowl on your table. But it's really top heavy, so when it sits down, it goes like that because this, where the walnut shell is so heavy, it won't lay nice, let's just put it that way. So I'm like, okay, where there's, you know, when the world gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? So I'm like, well, I'll just make a little hanger. So I got some ribbon. I always keep ribbon on hand. Who doesn't, right? And then I just sewed it on with a little button to kind of hide that. And there you go, voila. I love this piece, and I can't believe I've been punching for 18 years and have never made like a 3D piece like this. So more to come on that. So those are my two new punch needle releases for market. This is the cover photo, which turned out really nice, I think. Now we're going to get into my two wool applique pieces that I'm releasing at market. This first one was model stitched by Leanne Quigley, and she made this for me for the July Primitive Gatherings retreat. This is made with all Primitive Gatherings wool and Valdani threads. It's called 1776. And it's just made into a little mat. I gave Leanne, she fully finished it for me too. I gave her some of my Bright Stars fabric to finish it off with, and it just looks spectacular. I love this piece. Just what I actually did, I was gonna say, I love this piece just sitting on a table, which is exactly what you could do with it. But looking back, I wish I would have given her magnets to stitch inside of the fabric so that these two corners were magnetized. Keep that in mind when you're doing some small wool applique mats. Maybe put magnets in there just because that way you have the option of hanging it on something metal if you want. So I hot glued magnets to each side, and it didn't hold very well. It really needs to be, the magnets need to be stitched on there. So anyways, but for market, I'm just going to use it as a mat. It will be sitting out. And then, so I had to design a new cover. So my covers for cross stitch is this crackly looking background. And then the ones for punch needle are just a plain, like cream color background with no texture. So I had to do something different. So now this is what wool applique, these are what the covers will look like. My logo's moved over to the side. I combined the punch needle plain background at the top, and then so I combined basically my cross stitch and punch needle covers to make the one for wool applique. And I just love how the covers look. Super pretty. Then, you guys, so now we're going on to my absolute favorite thing. I think it's my favorite release for market, to be honest. it's kind of funny. People ask me, you know, what is your favorite release? Or what is the favorite thing you've ever designed? And usually it's one of the most recent things that I've designed just because it's new and it's fresh in my head. The reason I'm saying that this is my new favorite release for market is because for many years I have wanted to design wool applique. And like I said, I've designed my first 2 last year, but I never made one for myself or, you know, stitched it myself and all that. So I made this myself, which makes me super happy, but has really made me want to make a ton more wool applique. So this is called Posy Pocket, and my intention was to have some coordinating little dried posies coming out of this, but I just didn't have any. Had this been any other time other than, you know, just before market, I would have went to Joann or Hobby Lobby and found something to stick in there, but time is of like the essence. I don't have time to go shopping for that. So there's nothing in it, but it's called Posy Pocket. This is made from wool, Blackberry Primitives wool. And so there's 3 different colors of wool. There's this background, and I don't know if you can see, let me see if you can see the texture of that wool. There you go. Oh yeah, you can see that. That's what drew me to that wool and why I wanted it to be the background. So yeah, so this also I started just this past week and designed it, fully finished it, stitched it, photographed it, wrote the directions this week. That just tells you how insane it is, us designers doing this last minute stuff. We're crazy. So there's 3 different color wools. There's this nice burgundy, which is, oh, what is that called? Is that houndstooth? I'm bad with all of the, whoops, with knowing what, I think it's houndstooth. And then there's this nice kind of a rosy color, and then the awesome background fabric. This fabric I just had on hand. I'm always buying, like when I go to Primitive Gatherings or if I'm at any other store and they just have packs of somebody's line. If they're primitive colors, I always grab them because it's perfect for things like this. This rickrack is Lady Dot Creates Vintage. It's the color Vintage. Then I just had, oh, and here's another thing. So these were pieces of wool originally, but they were so tiny and they were just falling apart as I was trying to stitch them. They were just, there wasn't enough there to work with, and I couldn't keep them in place, and they were moving as I was stitching, and I'm like, okay, I'm not using these. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm like, well, I could leave them off. Then I said, no, just stitch, just embroider those cute little leaves on the bottom there. I don't know, they're not really leaves, but whatever they are. So I stitched those on. I basically just outlined with like a back stitch, and then I just filled them in with embroidery stitches. No big deal. If I can do it, anybody can do it, let me tell you. Then I took 3 buttons. So there's a button here. I stitched that button onto this pink color. Then I stitched the pink heart onto the beautifully deep red color. Then I stitched that onto this wool. Then I embroidered this on. And then it was time to assemble the pillow, or the pocket. So at the very end, to make the hanger, what I did is I put the ribbon on the inside of the pocket, and then I put the button on the outside, and using a coordinating thread, I just sewed it on, hand stitched it on there. And that way too, that's what's holding the lining in this pocket, okay? I didn't sew the pocket into the, I didn't sew the lining into the pocket. So I made the lining separate and then folded it over the edge, and then these buttons on each side, that's what's holding everything together. I think this is super sweet, and I had, oh, and then I had these, I think they're called bulb pins. They're like a little safety pin, and it's black, and then I have tons of antique keys whenever I'm antiquing. If there's any vintage keys, I pick them up, so I have a ton of them. And it just is precious. So this makes me super happy. Super, super happy. This is the cover photo. that you may have seen on my Instagram. It measures finish size, just the pocket itself is 3.5 by 4 inches. So that's it. That has been my week. It's been such a happy week because of stitching and creating things, mixed in with the horrifying news about Athena. So yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster right now. More than likely, I'm not going to be able to get her into this other veterinary hospital until after I get back, unless Kevin can take her while I'm gone. I really want to be there because, like I said, I'm staying at Kristen's for like 4 or 5 days after market. You know, if he can take her, that's great, because I feel like the sooner we get on this, the better chance that she has for survival. So I don't want to wait till I get back, really. But I might not be able to get her in until I get back. I don't know how busy they are. So I will find that out on Monday when I call. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So I gotta go so I can get this video uploaded and finish all the crazy things I have going on for market. I have to print my window display posters. I've got to print those. I haven't pulled all the models yet, which is my big job today. Yeah, and I have, real quick, I'll show you. I have my Bittersweet Farm third strike off. Is this third or maybe it's second? I don't know. Second strike offs for Bittersweet Farm. I'll just show you a little bit of how it's coming along. So what a strike off is, let me just real quick tell you this. Once I design the fabric, I send it to Riley Blake Designs. Then they have their company that they work with, you know, print what they call strike offs. They're just small pieces of each one of the prints in the line in all the different colorways. And then they cut a piece off and keep it. Normally they cut a bigger piece off, but they cut a piece off and keep it, and then they send me these squares, and then I compare this with my artwork and make adjustments, like the orange needs to be a little more yellow, or can you please put an outline around this, whatever it is, because it's not showing up. Just different things like that. We tweak the colors and the design. So then I send my notes back to them. I get to keep these pieces of fabric, and then I send my notes back to them. They send the notes on to the people that make the fabric. They make adjustments, reprint, and then they send them to me again to be, you know, to go over them. And I make my notes again, and hopefully everything's cool. We've never went past 3 strike-offs. So this is sunflowers and acorns, or no, sunflower and bittersweet. You can't really see the bittersweet too well. Yeah, all those little red things, that's bittersweet going around all the sunflowers. So yeah, there's different colorways. I love it on the black and on the yellow, the mustardy yellow color. So yeah, that's what I have to do today too. I love this print with all the turkeys. I cannot wait for this fabric to come out. I will look it up and see when it comes out, and I'll put it here on the screen. I'm not sure exactly when, but you might notice that most of my fabric lines have a black background in them because it works with every single season as far as I'm concerned. Even my Hop Hop Hooray, which was spring, the black background just makes everything pop and just stand out so pretty. And then, so it's basically turkeys, scarecrows, sunflowers. Here's the scarecrows again on the black. I love that guy right there. So anyway, look for this to come out, and can I just tell you, can I just thank you, all you beautiful project bag makers and, you know, tote bag makers, because I see you. I see your beautiful works. I buy from you. I love your work. I love seeing my fabric come to life in those project bags. It makes my heart so happy. I see that more than I see quilts. Like, I don't see, you know, maybe there people are making quilts with my fabric, but I don't see that. I'm not in that world as much as cross stitch. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for using my fabric and making such beautiful things. I just love it. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you're getting your pre-orders in for all the designers with all the amazing releases that are coming out. I feel super blessed that I'm able to, on Sunday, get out of my room and go visit everybody and see their beautiful pieces in person, because you guys know that's just the best. I mean, as hard as we work on getting our covers to look great and our photographs to look great, there's just nothing like seeing them in person. So I'm super excited to do that and visit with all my designer friends and my shops, and it's gonna be so fun. So anyway, I'll let you go. Don't forget, create every day. Bye.